Thank you for being here. All right. Usually I do a little bit of shaking. I'm going to do a little bit of shaking and then I'm going to do a deep breath as well. Okay, here we go. Okay, Eden here. Just be spiritual boom as I get really close into my mic, moving everyone more into opening their minds, increasing their vibration, now on video and audio. And Nyla, please say hi. I'm going to do a little bit of an introduction, but yeah, just say hello to everybody, please.
Hi there, this is Nyla Nguyen. I'm coming to you from 3D to 5D consciousness. This is my channel on YouTube, on BitChute, and a few other platforms. So Eden is one of my audience members. She reached out to
Yes.
me to organize this introduction, this meeting, so that way I can share some information, some perspective to her audience.
Very awesome. And I am going to give a little bit of background on that before and give more of Manala's bio as well. I started my own awakening journey, and I've never really been into detail about this right before the lockdowns happened. So I had been doing deep spiritual work for about 20 years, so was very open with all of that, yet I had no idea about the great ascension that was going on. I had no idea about the humanity and the cabal and Satanism and human trafficking. So it's been this eye-opening process for me. And also probably about a year ago, knowing that I had to do something about it and I had to participate in it, from starting a constitutional group to suddenly starting doing this podcast. And I work with all my clients to do that as well. So when I first started, there was very little, from my perspective, of people or that you could go to discover information. So someone sent me the Fall of the Cabal, which was excellent. There's so many. I think they're up to 24 or 25 documentaries on that. I watched Out of the Shadows, and then I went to Telegram. So I'm like, I want to be involved in channels that are not just people, griping and being angry about everything that's going on, yet I really want to see what's going on from a spiritual perspective. So I joined Spiritually Raw, and then Knowledge Channel came up. So she has been a voice in my ear, let's say, for about 2 years. So I told her when she showed up here, I'm like, hey, I see you every night. So it's just like, I know you don't know me, but I know you a lot. So I am so appreciative of her giving intel, her perspective, feelings about everything that is going on in the world. And she also comes from a very elevated platform, which I am totally about. And her Telegram channel now has almost 62,000. Let me say that again. 62,000 followers, and her YouTube, which I will also post, interesting, has 500 followers. So 62 must be your number. All right. So
No, what happened with YouTube is that I
yeah.
had to stop posting it because they kept on giving me strikes. Every single video I posted,
Oh,
they were giving me strikes. So I end up doing little mini trailers, but even in the mini trailers, because I'm so controversial with what I
yes.
talk about, I'm just very outspoken. I don't mince words. I don't censor information. I just say things as they are, and the cabal
Yes.
doesn't really like that. So as a result, even in the mini trailers, they found things that they strike to want, they want to pull down my channel. So I kept on having to fight them on the strikes. I had I don't know how many strikes I've had on that channel. And I have to keep
Yeah.
on fighting them, and they pull down so many videos. So I keep that channel on now because people search for me,
Yes.
and they want my content. So it's there for them to search. But now all the new content, I have to move it over to BitChute and Odyssey. So this is where my audience can follow me and keep up to date. I also have a second YouTube channel, which is Twin Flame Journey 3D to 5D.
Mm.
So this channel, it's going to be helping the human collective as well as the twin flame collective get a better understanding about twin flames, their role here, their mission, their journey. And it's also going to give a lot more clarity about what twin flames are, because there's a lot of now misinformation, because this twin flame concept has now
Yes.
been exploded into the collective consciousness. Back when I first got activated 7 8 years ago, there wasn't too much information about twin flames, so I was navigating the darkness. But now that I have completed my journey, I have a lot of information, a lot of insights and experience to share with the collective. So I also now have a second channel for twin flames, but that information there is also pertinent for the human collective. So even though they're not a twin flame, you'll still find a lot of valuable information that will be very relatable, and it's going to help them on their ascension journey. And they're going to get a lot more clarity because there's so much disinformation right now being put out
Yes.
about twin flames. Everybody thinks they're a twin flame. Meanwhile, they don't even know what a characteristic of a twin flame is. And you ask them, okay, what's the characteristic of a twin flame? How do you recognize a twin flame? And they can't tell you. So how do you know you're a twin flame? You can't even describe one.
Okay, so I want to go into a little bit of that later. So good for you keeping your channel up, because we've had at least one guest in here that was completely banned and had to leave it. So I'm also curious with how you maintain it, even though, like, I'm on Facebook. I got off Facebook, but I'm like, okay, I'll go back on there just because the masses know about Facebook. They take down so many of my posts saying that it's misinformation, but they haven't banned me yet. Twitter has banned me. So we'll talk some about that as
Well,
well.
I keep social media profile active just so people can kind of find me and search me, but I don't post on Facebook anymore. I just have a messenger so people can reach out and contact me. I'm thinking about posting on Instagram and building an audience there because I don't have much of a presence on Instagram. So it's something that I've been thinking about, and I might entertain and implement, because a lot of people would like to see my content be more spread and be shared, but it's really up to the people, right? If they want to share it, they share it.
No. Hey, would you mind sharing what part of the country are you in? And you don't have to give
Oh,
exact.
no, I can't disclose that.
Oh, not.
But being a truth teller and doing
Yes.
what I do is very dangerous.
Yep.
And the moment people know where you are and all that kind of stuff, it's drawing more attention to you that you don't want.
Mm-hmm.
And this job is dangerous as it is because you get all types of psychic attacks being directed against you by the cabal.
Yep.
Anyways, you don't really want people that you don't want showing up in your neighborhood. You know what I mean? Because they
Yes.
know what you are, and then they start following you and start tailgating you, doing things that you don't want them to do. So this job is very dangerous. When you start doing this job and start speaking the truth, you'll start to see how dangerous it is, because there's the attacks that's coming. And I've been doing this for few years now, 3-4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes a lot of strength and, I guess, courage to be able to do this and keep on at it regardless of the amount of tax that's coming your way.
So when did you start becoming aware? Like, I know you've talked about you started doing this 7 or 8 years ago. Were you born into the world knowing that just something's off, or how have your eyes been open? Also knowing this is a process. How did it start for you?
Oh, awakening happens at different stages for people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my awakening started at a young age, because being a twin flame, you'll become activated and start being guided by the spiritual realm at a young age, so you can be prepared for your mission. So I came from a very unawakened state of consciousness, very 3D. I was an atheist, so my awakening journey was already starting for me to find my relationship with source, with the creator. So it already happened long time ago. So I found my relationship with the creator around 18, 19. And then I converted to a religion, got my mind all brainwashed, and then evolved our religion. So this, you see how there are different stages in awakening. So
Yes.
for the full process, it's a lifetime journey. So to be where I am right now, which is very awakened to everything from the education system, medical system,
Yep.
the cabal, the religion, I had to awaken from every single one of those systems to be where I am right now. So it was a lifetime journey. So I can't really pinpoint to you, but I can tell you that when I had my activation to become a twin flame and realized I'm a twin flame, that was a very powerful spiritual awakening to understand my cosmic identity, why I came into this planet. But then it propelled me to the next level, which is doing my YouTube channel. That happened about 3-4 years ago. And that took my awakening, my ascension to the next level, because doing this type of work, you're challenged on so many different levels in terms of content creation, being able to identify your triggers, because you have all these psychic attacks coming your way, trolls coming your way. Now you have to learn how to identify triggers and how to manage and heal yourself. So it really challenges you and makes you grow exponentially. I mean, I think the biggest growth I've had is because I was doing the YouTube channel. Is because I'm constantly always researching. I'm always doing that anyways, but it's on a higher level of intensity, and I have to put up the content, and then I have to deal with the challenge of dealing with all these people who attack or who oppose or who insult, who slander, and you have to learn how to manage that as well too. And over time, you become more skilled at handling those type of people.
How can you, and this might be a much bigger discussion in terms of twin flame, how would you, I don't know, generally describe that? Is that a fair question? I don't even know.
So the people, the general collective don't really understand twin flames. They think it's like a romantic fairy tale
Yes.
journey that, I'm gonna go find my twin flame and fall in love and be married, get happily, have kids, have a white picket fence, but it's not like that. So twin flames are the toughest, bravest, strongest, mightiest galactic warriors that the divine has sent into this planet to fight demons. In order for twin flames to come into this planet and to incarnate into this planet, they had to go through like the Navy SEALs on the cosmic level to pass all these spiritual tests to see if they have the qualification to come down here to incarnate. They are called the 144,000. Okay, they're called Earth Angels. You can call them Earth Angels. They are the first original light warriors. They're light warriors. They're not light workers. They are light warriors. How you can recognize them is that they have a very strong and ferocious warrior spirit. You don't want to mess with a twin flame because they're exceptionally strong and powerful. I'm not saying that just to toot twin flames horn.
But you are, yes.
We are exceptionally powerful. Some of us more powerful than others because of the incarnations we come into this planet, lifetime after lifetime, fighting demons, battling darkness. Our warrior spirit is very strong. And when people pick a fight with a twin flame, they're gonna be, they gotta be taken out. I'm gonna say this, bro, frankly, they're gonna be taken out because twin flame is relentless. When they go on the defense and they counter attack, they are relentless. One of us is gonna go down. It's not going to be twin flame. Okay. So they have this very strong, powerful warrior spirit. And then on top of that, once they become activated and become awakened and do their ascension work and heal, now they're very powerful. They're unstoppable because they're fearless. Now they're shining so much light, raising so much awareness, casting the demons out. And then on top of that, they're empowering people to become warriors themselves. So they're very dangerous. Twin flames are very dangerous for the cabal. This is why a true, genuine twin flame, the cabal will automatically attack. To make sure this twin flame is in a victimhood consciousness, make sure they are not on the mission, make sure they're off their path, they're lost, confused, they're depressed, they're suicidal, because if once they're on their path, they're gonna be, a force to be reckoned with. And you can see that I'm one of these twin flame that I'm a force to be reckoned with. You do not want to mess with me. People go on my channel, they start commenting, they start mouthing off, and then they start dealing with me because I leave my comment section open because I want people to have free speech.
Right.
I do believe in free speech. I allow people to say their point of view, but if they use that comment section, they start abusing and doing it, character assassination, slander, doing all these demonic possession activity of attacking, insulting, slandering people, then they're gonna be dealing with me. They're not gonna be dealing with me on a public level, and I don't back down.
So what do you do? Do you comment back? Do you find them individually and just talk to them? What do you?
Yeah. I talk to every single one of them. Every single one of them.
Wow.
I take out every single one of disrespecting demon that they come at it. Every single one of them.
Wow.
Other
Good.
people on BitChute will block the comment section because of all the negativity that goes on in there. BitChute has a plethora of people who are very negative, demonically possessed, and they go in there, they start doing all this attack. And usually this type of lashing out attack is a clear sign of demonic possession. This is how demons behave. They lash out, they attack, they slander, they're aggressive, they're hostile, they're vile. But I leave it open because I enjoy kicking their egos in. I enjoy doing it publicly. because once I do it, they don't come back. They don't dare to do it again because they'll know I'll go back at them and I'll, it doesn't bother me with what
Right.
they do because I'm healed. It doesn't bother me. A lot of people will be hurt, but because I've done my work to heal myself, it doesn't bother me. I'm amused by them. I'm amused by them because that's all they have. But their low intelligence, that's all they have coming at me. And then I counter every single one of them to make them look like an idiot, you know? Because
Mm-hmm.
once I expose all of their weapons and they have nothing to throw back at me, now what are they gonna do? Nothing. They
Or
can't.
maybe look at themselves. Do you think some of them do that as well? Or are they
But that's
too
what I
too far
do.
gone?
That's what I do. I
Good for
counter,
you.
I make them look at themselves and look at their own
Right.
action behavior. I call it out publicly, and then they're forced to deal with, oh my gosh, she's shining so much light. She's calling me out publicly. And sometimes, if that they're very lucky, I'll take a comment and then I'll broadcast it and I'll make them a case example to show to the people, hey, this is what they're doing, and this is what you see me do that all the time. I broadcast. I'll pick a comment and I'll start to dissect the person online so they see. I'm going to do that too because I'm going to start pointing out how demons behave and how demons act. And so people can have awareness how the dark, how these demonic forces influence people and how,
Yes.
and when they become influenced, you're going to start to see who they are. They're no longer going to be operating in darkness. I'm going to share with them my knowledge so that way they can gain awareness how this world is filled with people with demonic possession. They just don't have awareness of how these people they behave. I'm going to start pointing it out so that way they know.
Good for you. All right. So don't mess with this woman. We're talking about it now, and you've probably already seen it. And I wanted to ask you, I, as of late, so wonderful. So I've got a list of things. There are so many things right now that I see in people's faces. Finally, so I will do a link probably down below about the Brunson case that comes January 6th, which is amazing. And we're recording this on January 4th. The scheduled conference date review for the Supreme Court to take a vote to see if they move their case to trial. And simply put, the case alleges that Congress failed in their constitutional duties by ignoring the protection of the critical infrastructure, which is the election systems due to a national emergency. And this could change everything. Then Monday Night Football, Buffalo Bill player Damar Hamlin collapsed on the field. Ye and Britney Spears off the charts right now. Balenciaga and Disney working together. There to me are more things in especially Monday Night Football. Do you have any thoughts on that? Because I've looked around, he collapsed on the field. I'm assuming it was because of the vaccination. Do you know any more, Nyla?
Of course, it's the job. Come on, and this is to be expected. Of course, no healthy athlete in their prime will be just
Right.
falling, dropping dead. It's the job, of course. But I don't
Right.
want to talk about that because these people, they took the shot, they sacrificed their health for a job, for a paycheck. Now they're paying the consequences for it. So, well,
Mhm.
too bad, so sad. You can't help these people. What are you gonna do? The Brunson case is very interesting to talk about because I think this
Yeah.
case is very fascinating. But the thing that I'm going to cover that in the next episode.
Mm.
The thing that I want to that I'm going to pay attention to is we have now a legitimate case. The evidence is there. We're
Yep.
going to see how corrupt the justice system is.
Yep.
This is where we're going to see if the justice system, the judges have been compromised or they're going to be doing their job properly. So we're gonna have to see. This is part of the movie we're gonna see. The people have put in their lawsuit. It's legitimate. They have the facts.
Very
It's
legit.
evidence that Congress didn't do their job. And now we're gonna see if we have a working justice system or a broken one in the U.S. So we're gonna
And
see how the judges are gonna be
yes.
voting and dismissing.
And I recently watched a video with one of the Bronson brothers, and he basically said if this doesn't work, they have another tactic they're going to take. But he found it very interesting that their review date was January 6th. So that made him excited. So we'll see. I did want to ask you, because I haven't really gone into detail about Donald Trump. So Nala, wanted to see if you could give a little bit more on that. I've stated that he's a good guy and talked about the white hats being the good guys and the dark hats being the bad guys. And I recently had a guest on as well that he took the jab because Trump at that point, but I didn't follow any of this because I wasn't going to get the vaccination, that Trump stated that it was okay or encouraged people to do it. Can you tell us about him and your perception of him?
Trump is with the white hats. And if you study the art of war, it's all about deception when it comes to war. And the cabal, if the white hats were to take the defensive stance, which is to attack the jab and say it's bad for you and start warning people about the jab, the obvious counterattack by the cabal would have been to do character assassination on Trump with the mainstream media. You see that?
Yep.
So this is why Trump had to take the opposing attack, a stance, a tactic that the cabal couldn't attack him with, which is the reason why he promoted jab. But now that with him promoting the jab, they didn't have any more weapons. They couldn't attack him. They couldn't discredit him. They couldn't call him a loony bin. They couldn't call him a conspiracy theorist. They couldn't do a lot of things to hurt his character and ruin his credibility because he was now promoting the jab. And at that time, people were very, very heavily mind controlled, still brainwashed, thinking that vaccines are good and healthy for you. So of course, Trump knows the jab is not healthy, but as a military tactic, you have to take that stance. It's all about deception and manipulation. Now, a lot of people don't understand the art of war, and they just blindly follow Trump's recommendation, which I don't recommend people to do. You should always be free thinking and critically thinking. Just because someone you follow, you trust, you like, recommend something does not mean you should just blindly follow that. You should always exercise your free will, critically think, look into things, investigate, and then come to your own conclusion. So this is also a lesson in discernment for a lot of people too. So if they took a jab based on Trump said so, I mean, that's really on them. That is something I would call a distortion in people's consciousness. That would be a distortion in consciousness where you blindly trust people without critically thinking and investigating and verifying. This is part of my way of being, is that I always verify, critically think, and free think on my own. It doesn't matter who is recommending anything. I think on my own, and people need to learn how to do that. You need to verify.
Yeah, it's a lot of times he'll just say things because he's supposed to, again, to get the cabal off track. So it is, you really have to discern and really, yeah.
You have to understand, this is a war, and when it comes to war, it's all about deception and manipulation, and Trump has a role to play. If he was always going to be honest and tell you guys the truth all the time, my God, this war would be done and over, you know? You have to play this game, this war, a lot better than the masters of deceivers and manipulators. The cabal is they are masters. You know, 4 PhD in this area. So if you want to beat them their own game, you have to be superior than them. So, you know, this is why I understood the tactics of Trump and what the White Hats were doing, which is why I exposed it on my broadcast. I tell the people, this is a military tactic, guys, okay? The White Hats have no choice but to take this position, because if he went on the offense and started attacking the jab, it will be game over. Look at what happened to him when he promoted hydroxychloroquine. Look at what happened. What did they do to him? They completely character assassinate him. Oh, he's recommending you to take, what is it they call that thing? Chlorine?
Horse pills, or yeah.
Yeah. They were saying nonsense in the media, you know, just because the man recommend a vaccine, which, by the way, hydroxychloroquine is a vaccine, it works, and then they absolutely butcher him in the media for something that he said is actually factual and correct.
Yeah.
So you can see.
So my impression was that QAnon is composed of a military component, let's call it that, and they asked him to come on board, for lack of a better way of saying it, because they knew that he could not be bought, knew that he would be a warrior, that he would stand through all of this. Is that your impression as well?
Yeah. Yes. Yes,
Okay.
I heard some other stories, some background details about it, but I don't want to share that because I don't think it's really important for people to know. It's more important that he's working for humanity and that he's doing a great sacrifice of his personal life and a lot of things he's made sacrifice for the betterment of humanity and to be of service to the divine.
Well, and think
That's
about what you're going through, that he's doing it also on a national scale. I can't imagine how strong an individual has to be to do what he's doing. So
exactly.
I'm very grateful for his work as well. Let me extend that into Elon Musk. What are your impressions about him?
Elon Musk is a Satanist, but he's gone. I don't know what happened to him, but what we have right now is just an actor wearing a mask. So, Elon Musk he grew up in that type of environment. He was initiated when he was young. So he was already into that type of lifestyle. And when you're into that lifestyle, it's hard to get away from that bloodline. And Elon is a part of that bloodline. Um, eventually the White House is going to get to you because of the crimes you committed. And obviously they got to Elon and he's no longer, the real one is no longer here. We have right now an actor because the White House have to release technologies like the Q Tesla phone has to be released to the public. They need a front man to be able to release this type of technology. They need a front man to take over a social media platform. Twitter, now it looks like Trump might be returning to Meta soon. There's rumors and announcements saying that he's going to be returned to Meta. So if that happens, that means it's a good probability that the White House might have control over Meta, right? So
Nice. And
so for everything that the White House needs to roll out, they need a front man to have that person as the actor to roll this thing out. Like Trump was the person they have to choose to fight the cabal on the political scene, but now they have to have a technology guy to roll out all the tech gadget stuff that the White House want to roll out for the collective.
well put. All right.
Starlink, Q Tesla
Yes.
phone, QFS, stuff like, things like that.
So saying that he's kind of a front man and it's not really him, that Twitter is okay, or again, I've had many people communicate that it's getting better. Like you still can get suspended off of it. Yet this one woman, I think she's multiple times, but she's like, it's not as heavy as it used to be. So there are improvements. Would you agree with that?
I think it's better now than before, but I still wouldn't be on it because I think there's a security issue. They know too much about your personal information. I
Interesting.
exposed it on my broadcast that they know your location, where you live, everything about you. They can find out exactly your exact location within 30 minutes of you tweeting. 30 minutes, 15 minutes, they can know where you are, pick you up, do anything to you. If you tweet something they don't like, boom. They know your location, get an agent over, pick you up, and then you're done.
Oh my gracious. Well, and speaking of bloodlines, I wanted to ask you too about the Harry and Meghan documentary that's on Netflix. Also, I've communicated, be really careful with the media. It's all mind control. And I do not want to watch it, yet I'm assuming it is full of untruths and inaccuracies. What would you say to that?
Why would you even want to pay attention to it?
I would not yet. I have some friends that are clients that have been asking me about it, and I'm like, I tell them I would just take it as a grain of salt because they
What
are.
is your job? What is your job?
So I'm
What
a
do you
spiritual healer as well.
Oh, you're a spiritual healer. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. It's not even something important to even tune into. So it's not even worthwhile even addressing.
there you go. Well put. And then I wanted to ask you because I've seen some of your posts on DeSantis as well. So the governor of Florida, that he is beloved and well loved in this movement, yet he's very contradictory with things. So you expose some of that as well. What are your feelings on him as of late?
Yeah, Initially, I believe that the deep state is grooming DeSantis to be someone that's going to be running against Trump, but I don't
Mhm.
think he has a chance. When I think the deep state can see that Trump is too powerful and DeSantis will never be able to win the people over compared to Trump. I've seen pictures of DeSantis being a Freemason, so I don't trust DeSantis. So therefore, he can do a lot of good things, but then we see now he's allowing Disney to have these special tax privileges again. So originally he was talking about revoking it and
Right.
even no more special privileges, but now with the new CEO Bob Iger coming back, DeSantis is now again giving Disney these tax breaks. The still respecting that those tax laws that Disney has that
Mm.
give those privileges of being autonomous where there's no government interference.
Okay, I knew that they were taken away. I didn't realize that it's kind of back. What would you tell everybody about Disney?
Whoa, sorry again. Say that
What would
again.
you tell everybody about the happiest place on earth, Disney?
Oh, I think there's so much public awakening with Disney, right? That
Yep.
is by pedophiles, and it's just the cartoons is just grooming kids to be sexualized, and it's really indoctrinating kids to have distorted ideas about genders and indoctrinating LGBT. All this satanic programming is going to these Disney cartoons. So I don't even allow my daughter to watch Disney. I explain to her why. She's like, "Oh, mommy, why can't I watch Disney?" It's like, because it's this, and this. Okay, I don't even buy things for Disney. I tell her why not to give money to Disney because you're giving money to these pedophiles. What's a
Hmm.
pedophile? This is a pedophile. Explain to her. So you have to do these type of little education to start making the kids really smart, become awakened to what's going on in the world.
And I'm so glad my kids right now are 21 and 18 and this has always been going on, yet to, everything's really strong right now, especially with the transgender agenda. I can't imagine having little ones at this moment. I think I would not overprotect them, but homeschool them. And yeah, I would really be high on education. Oh my goodness. All right, Kim.
What you want to do
Yeah.
to protect these kids from all this brainwashing is that you want to control the media they're consuming.
Hmm.
So everything's first is going to the media, the cartoons, everything they're being exposed to. Mostly is the media. You have to really control the media they're watching, and you have to have a list of what they can and they cannot watch, and they have to stick to a very narrow list. So my daughter, when I have shared custody, but I'm very strict with what she can and she cannot watch. And I tell her the criteria and I explain to her if I don't allow her to watch certain things, I explain to her what are the reasons why you can't watch it, why this is dangerous for your mind. And I tell her, you're programming your mind. If you're going to be programming your mind, you might as well be programming something that's going to be beneficial. So um, right now she watched things that are about animals, a lot about like learning about animals. That's what she's into. And so if you stick to certain programming that is going to be educational, you can navigate through all this brainwashing. But if you just let the kids watch any programming, anything they want, you have to really pay
Oh yeah.
attention to what they're watching too. And then because they weave in a lot of like cabal teaching, like, oh, take this vaccine, it's good for you. And I saw that on her show. I'm like, this is not good.
Like on
Okay.
Sesame Street.
They're
Right.
already programming you that vaccines is good for you. I mean,
Mhm.
I told her this, that this is kind of programming. And then other time I seen her watching, they were promoting wearing sunscreen. Oh,
Yep.
sunscreen's good for you. And I'm okay, that's not good. That's not good for you. So I start to explain to her that this is the reason why I don't want you to watch so much cartoons, because they put it on these programming into your subconscious. You're not aware of it, and that you're mind controlled. You think all these things they put in cartoons and all these TV programs are good, but they're not.
So how are you with electronics for her?
I only let her to go on to watch TV sometimes. Not TV, but like on the YouTube channel. On the
Okay.
YouTube, she only has one show that she watches. She's she's addicted to Kratz right now. That Wow Kratz show, but that's about it. And then what I get her to do is I get her to do macrame. So she does like bracelets.
How old is she? Just to have an idea.
She's 9.
Okay.
So what do you want to do is you want to get your kids to do a lot of arts and crafts. So
That's what my
I
daughter
find
does.
a lot of arts and crafts to entertain her. So now she's really enjoying making bracelets with crystals and stuff, and she
Neat.
enjoys doing that more than watching programming. So she finds pleasure. So I try to find things to get her. What you want to do with kids is you want to keep their hands busy,
Mhm.
painting, bracelet making, puzzles, whatever. Just keep their hands busy, and then that occupies their lower mind. And then if you can give them something artsy and creative, they'll enjoy that. You
One of
know,
my guests was also talking about how cursive writing has been taken out of schools because that activates your critical and creative thinking. So drawing as well. And my one daughter does beautiful cursive, which I'm like, yes, so
I try to
great.
get her to do that too, but she's I tell her she writes like chicken scratch.
Okay.
I told her when I was 6 years old, my writing was beautiful because I sat down and I made sure it was immaculate. I said, "You're 9 years old and you're writing like a chicken that just went on the screen and scratch all the pages." And she starts laughing.
All right. Why don't we take this quick transition into the Galactic Federation? Can you describe your connection to that and what that is? Again, being, as I talked to you about, being very elemental initially with that, if you don't mind.
So the Galactic Federation of Light, there's a lot of disinformation fed into the collective about that as well too. So a lot of people have very, you know, distorted information. This is why I had to do a lot of research over the years to get the right information. So the GFL is kind of like the police force of this solar system. Ashtar Command is the police force. Ashtar is the commander of the GFL. Being a twin flame, I'm under his command. So
Okay, and I know
all twin
you've had
flames,
Ashtar on your shows.
yeah, I have Ashtar on my broadcast before where he is being channeled through
Hmm.
another twin flame where his mission is to be this type of channeler for the GFL. So Ashtar is the police force for this solar system. This is why the Cabal attacks the GFLs a lot, do a lot of character assassination, disinformation. So a lot of people have misinformation about the Ashtar command. But I like to discern and have the most accurate information. This is why I put the real Ashtar in front of my audience, so that way they get the latest, the greatest,
Hmm.
and the closest to the truth. And so you know now that the Twin Flame Collective, they work under the jurisdictions of the Ashtar Command. Ashtar also works with the Jerusalem Command, which is now on the commandership of Sananda. People used to know him as Yeshua ben Joseph, aka Jesus. He's now ascended in his 12D states of conscious. He's called Lord Sananda. That would be so Ashtar would be on the municipal level, Sananda would be on the federal level. You understand? So
Yes.
they have also ranking and hierarchy in the spiritual realm as well too.
Okay, let me throw this in there as well. So I had always believed that there were ascended beings, that there was more to this earth. In my awakening, and I've put this out there before, there's so much more in terms of how much has been masked from the public in terms of time traveling and portals. I mean, all that stuff, everybody is real. Okay, please continue.
Once you start diving to the galactic perspective and the cosmic perspective, it becomes very, very fascinating. This is why
Yes.
I only really like to dive and study the galactic perspective, because for me it's just so much more unique,
Yes.
interesting, and diverse, and you have a really expanded consciousness when you start studying their point of view and seeing the way they see the world and see reality. This is why a lot of people like to tune my broadcast, because I give them a multitude of different perspectives from various different civilizations, even different galactic beings, different ascended masters. This is why I have different beings channeled through to my broadcast. I've had Ashtar, I've had Sananda, I had Archangel Michael. Each one of them have their own unique perspective, and it's very important to gain a multitude of perspectives, so that way you get the bigger picture. You have an expanded consciousness, and you don't invalidate any perspective, because in the multiverse all perspectives are valid, and you want to have an expanded mind to see all the various perspective you can have on a particular subject. So I like to ask certain galactics on their perspective on the solar flash, because you have a different perspective when you ask different beings and different civilization. They have their own unique point of view. And then once you have all of that, you can start to figure out and have your own take on it, because now you have a broad range and you can come to your own mind, your own conclusion. So this is what I like, how I think, and this is how I like to teach others to think, because then you're not limited in your way of thinking. And this
And
is
then
how you're gonna be able to break through the matrix. Okay, you have to be able to
yes.
expand your conscious and not be limited in your thinking. The minute you start limiting your perspective, invalidating, which is a form of limiting yourself, you're going to be stuck into a particular frequency. And this is how you get stuck into the matrix, because the matrix is conditioning people to limit their consciousness.
Mm-hmm. And what I love about that too, and looking at it from a galactical perspective, if you get too deep into, oh, what's happening in our world and Elon and all that, this kind of elevates that thinking too, just to go, hey, there's a much bigger picture going on here too, that we're not just elevating, but we are really this collective consciousness. We are all coming together, not just your neighbor down the street or your family somewhere else, but we are all coming together. Which let me ask you, this may be a final question, I'm not sure. What is your biggest hope for people through this?
My biggest hope. You know, I learned from Bashar, they don't like the word hope. You know why they don't like the word hope?
Hope is still not, it's like you're hoping for something that maybe might not happen.
Yeah, so the reason why this civilization is called the ascension, they're hybrids between human and grays. Okay, so they have the human genes and they also have the gray genes. And they taught me on they taught the humans that the word hope implies failure. So when you use the word hope, you have this implication that there's something that
I
might
just used it.
Well, you know, you don't have awareness, but now you have awareness, right? But this is why they don't use the word hope.
Mm-hmm.
They don't use the word try. Try is the same thing too. There's no such thing as try. You either do it or you don't.
Right.
You either do it or you don't. So what would I
your biggest dream?
What is my biggest wish for the collective?
Yes, wish, dream. Yeah.
For people to gain control and master their own consciousness. Because if they can control and master their own consciousness, they're in control of their reality. But if they don't have control and they don't master their own consciousness, they're going to become a victim of their reality. So my biggest goal, my biggest wish for the people is to learn to understand how their own consciousness work. So that way they can design the lifestyle that they want. They can create the reality they want. They can shift into the timeline they want. If they don't like it, they shift into another reality. But if you don't know how to do that, you're going to be living a very miserable reality. So that would be my biggest, goal for people.
Nice. Do you feel that that's happening? Well, it is happening more and more. Where do you think we are in this process as a collective?
They're just walking right. They're just crawling right now.
Okay.
To be able to have that level of control and mastery of conscious, you actually have to have a lot of awareness about your thoughts,
mm-hmm.
feelings,
yes,
where they are on the scale of consciousness. Most people don't even know what the scale of consciousness are, where they are placing, where they're vibrating at, the quality of their thoughts. Are they able to discern the voices in their head? Because people think, oh, it's all my intuition. No, you have three voices within you. You are not aware that you have three conflicting voices within them. You have the voice of the ego, you have the voice of your heart, and then you have your gut, all wanting to give you directions. Guess which one it's going to be hard for you to discern is coming from the heart, the ego, or the gut. Mm-hmm. They all have particular outcome, and usually people follow the ego, and this is why they make mistakes they goof up and they get into a situation that they don't want to be in because they followed the wrong voice, because they followed the voice of the ego. It's not easy to discern these three voices within your own consciousness. Okay. Even
Yes.
myself, I sometimes get, I guess I sometimes get tricked. I wouldn't say I get tricked, but it's easy to dismiss the voice of your soul because it's so subtle. The direction and the guidance will come from your higher self, from the soul, and then you'll just dismiss it because it's just so subtle, and then you just don't pay attention to it, and then you don't do what is telling you to do, and then you find yourself in wasting time, getting lost, losing money, losing keys, forgetting things because you didn't follow that voice that was just very gentle. But then the voice of the ego is just very persuasive. It's just so logical. It just sounds so good at persuading you and influence. You follow the ego, and then guess what happens? A
Mm-hmm.
ditch.
Mm-hmm. And it does. It takes time and work to get to where the soul is the primary. Because I know I want to say battle or struggle with that too. It doesn't matter how ascended you are, and tell me if you agree with this, Nolly, because being here on this planet is always about work and evolving, regardless if you are a twin flame. I'm assuming that there's still work to be done, and you just said too. Sometimes I struggle with that myself. So my thank you so much for being here today. Is there anything else that you would like to let everybody know?
Is there anything else?
Anything else? Are you good?
I sure I'll give them one more tip. I would
Nice.
think I would like people to exercise discernment when it comes to consuming media,
Yeah.
I would say, because that has the biggest effect in your consciousness and your perception of reality. Uh, Make sure that your perception of reality is as accurate as possible, because
So media, meaning news and just TV and entertainment, music, all of it,
all media,
all media. Okay, all
all media,
platforms.
all media, books,
Yep.
audiobooks, TV, YouTube, all media, everything that you're consuming for your mind,
Mhm.
for your entertainment, make sure that you are discerning.
Yep.
Is this going to be of value? This is going to improve my consciousness. It's going to get me to what I want, which is to be able to control and master my own consciousness. So that way I can be in charge of my own reality. But if I give that power away to the cabal, they're going to be in charge of controlling my reality, using my own consciousness against me, and making me create realities that I don't prefer. So a lot of people fall in the second category, that they don't know how their own consciousness work. They're being programmed, they're being controlled by the cabal. And as a result, they're giving that power away. And they will never be able to consciously be a co-creator of their own reality if they give this power away. So you need to be able to take back your power and really understand how consciousness work. And this is not an easy subject because there's not many
Mhm.
people talking about this. My channel is probably the only channel that talks about this that I'm
Excellent.
aware of. That I'm
Excellent.
aware
All right, you people, get hold of your consciousness, get hold of your awareness. And like for me, like it is being aware of everything as much as possible in terms of your own thoughts, what you're listening to. And it's hard work, but it becomes easier and easier the more
I will
you
give
get
people
attention to it.
another tip. I will give another
Yes.
people another tip. The biggest course that made the hugest impact in
Hmm.
my consciousness and mind power is a course called Mindpower by John Kehoe. Make sure
Hmm.
after this broadcast, you go into that website and you're looking into it and sign up for that course.
Okay.
Mindpower by John Kehoe.
How do you spell
That
his last name?
Kehoe is Kehoe.
Okay.
That course will get you to have a level of awareness of your own thinking, of your own inner talk, that you will have so much more awareness of what's going on in your conscious mind. Once you're able to wrap your head and get control of that inner talk dialogue, then it's going to be a lot easier for you to gain awareness and control your consciousness. Because if you don't have that awareness of your own thoughts, your own feelings, and what you're thinking, what you're planting in your subconscious, you have no chance of being able to master your consciousness. That course would be the beginning, the foundation of it. And then next would be learning more advanced stuff, which people can learn in my membership area where I'm going to share this information. They can learn that from Bashar too, but it's a huge library of information. I give a lot of Bashar's knowledge in my membership area as well too, at a fraction of the cost. But you know, they're baby steps, they're levels to stuff. But that I would say that John Kehoe course would be the foundation of people to really start to understand how conscious work, take control of that inner voice, start scrutinizing it, start filtering it, start controlling it, start really being a gatekeeper for it. Then you have more. The course literally will give you mind power. That's why the course is called Mind Power. Well, you will have mind power by the end of the course.
Okay. I think that's an excellent ending. Way to go, honey. Thank you so much for contributing your expertise, your light to everyone. So I'm very curious for what people took in, what they assimilated through this. So, hey, thank you very much. And I'll say goodbye, just you and I, in just a second, but I'm going to stop the recording. So you also say goodbye, please.
Thank you for having me on. It's an honor. It's a pleasure to meet you, Eden, and your audience member. Thank you. I enjoyed this interview and this chat. Hopefully your audience member also likes it too. And we'll see each other next time.
All right. Ciao. Just be practice. Woo! Nyla. That's a warrior girl. She makes me look like a friggin' puppy dog. That too. So I hope that you learn some things, opened yourself up. Yeah, she's pretty deep and pretty feisty as well, which, you know, you kind of have to be that to do what she does. So yay to her. And when she talked about that, she also believes that we are still moving at a snail's pace. I'm going to put those words into it in terms of ascending. I would like for this practice to be about that and helping that more. All right. Are you game? Okay. So let's go then. Wherever you are, if you are sitting, if you are laying, again, I say this a lot, if you're in the car, at the grocery store, whatever, wherever, just bring your consciousness somehow into this, even if you're busy doing other things. It's okay. If you just set the intention that I'm going to do this, even if you're not seriously sitting and meditating, that's good too. I'm going to see myself facing each one of you. Okay, and that also means that there are hundreds of people lining up. I see one person here, then another person there, but I see all of you. Okay, and within your right hand, this is where we're going to start. I want you to feel someone who is on that side of you, who is not awakened, really has no idea what is going on, caught up in the drama. And you're going to slip your hand gently into theirs. And initially, they're not going to want to turn their attention to you yet. When you're putting your hand there, you're going to work on being so very calm, work on being the light, that eventually, and I feel it's happening right now, they're going to turn towards you and give you a smile. Like now they're in your fold, they are in your periphery. So keeping that hand held on the right, we're going to go to the left side and do the same thing. So it's almost like feeling someone out in the ethers who really is ready, in a sense, for this, yet they haven't had the right person approach them. Now they are. So your hand is going to go out, slip into theirs. Initially not paying you attention, not like say they're on their phone or something. Then your calmness and your light soon is going to garner their attention. And they're going to turn and look at you and smile. And as we continue doing this, which we are going to continue, I really want there to be or encourage diversity, and in terms of the color of people's skins, where they're from, their age. Okay, so those two people that are connected to you, now they are going to do the same thing simultaneously with their open hand, finding someone who, let's say, who's lost, who's looking for more, putting their hand into this person. Same thing, light, calmness. Suddenly they're going to look at them and smile. Then it's going to continue. And I'm going feel this for a moment. And then it's going to continue. So this is being done quietly, but also with an excitement, because people are seeing also that they're not alone, that someone sees them. And during this period of time, being seen is so huge. Being seen on some level. I'm going to imagine that this continues to go on long past our session together, long past this practice. This is going to continue into infinity. Again, reaching out to people with no judgment. It doesn't matter what level you're at or you're on. We are all a part of this. We are all a part of it. And if Nyla was here, she'd be like, come on, let's go. Love, calm, and that Nyla spirit as well. Wow, so nice. And thank you for contributing yourself to this, because again, you are so important. We're all so important, even though we're small. It doesn't really matter. We are all part of this. And the more a part of it you can become, the better, because it's happening, and maybe it's going at a snail's pace. But like I talked about with Nyla, there are lots of things that are in people's views like never before. So my feeling is that it is really starting to kick off. So yay, you, and I will see you next week. Thank you. Bye. So cool of you to be here. I went from being off most social media to being on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Truth Social, and you might be watching this on YouTube, Rumble, or BitChute. Or you might be listening to this on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. I'm on over 19 directories at this point. So connect, comment, subscribe, like. Oh, and my intention is to have a new episode out Wednesday of each week. Oh, Lordy, more to come.